Barney, Bugs Bunny, Bart Simpson. We all have those iconic TV characters that fascinated us when we were kids. But then there are those other characters, the lesser known ones who are remembered by so few people, it's hard to believe they were ever popular. One such BBC character had a huge spurt of stardom, but his story was ultimately a complicated one. Although he quickly rose to astronomical popularity, in almost no time at all, he was swept out of the collective's consciousness, leaving behind one last eerie souvenir for his remaining fans. Noel Edmonds, known for hosting light entertainment programs, was the go-to man for the BBC in the 90s. He led one successful show after another on Saturday evenings for almost 20 years, but his true masterpiece hit the airwaves in '91. Noel's House Party was a series that took place in the fictional town of Crinkley Bottom. On the show, celebrity guests appeared as residents of the town and hijinks ensued. The breakout sensation of the show was the big pink oddity Mr. Blobby. In the popular Gotcha prank segments of the show, Mr. Blobby appeared and subsequently pranked an unsuspecting celebrity. The guest would be under the impression Mr. Blobby was an interviewer. Not in the slightest. Mr. Blobby would clumsily destroy the set and repeat the only word in his vocabulary. Blobby. Equipped with big rolling googly eyes, a permanent grin, and a robotic voice, Mr. Blobby was an instant star. Children across the UK couldn't get enough of the yellow-spotted bungler. Noel saw an opportunity. Because Noel's House Party was one of the biggest television shows in the country by 1993, he decided to turn the fictional world of Crinkley Bottom into a theme park. But he couldn't do it alone. So Noel did the most logical thing a guy could do. He approached the powers that be at Cricket St. Thomas Wildlife Park, a theme park near his own home, and together they struck a deal. Millions of dollars later, they transformed the peaceful landscape to the nonsensical home of Mr. Blobby. The park was called Crinkley Bottom, and Mr. Blobby's house, Dun Blobbin, was the main attraction. At first, Noel's savvy move was a success. Blobby and his wife hosted a garden party grand opening, and children and parents flocked to the pink and yellow wonder. In 1994 alone, over 500,000 guests had visited the amusement park. Hands down, the most popular attraction was Mr. Blobby's house. When you pressed the doorbell, a screeching "Blobby, Blobby, Blobby" filled the air. Who wouldn't want to rifle through the kitchen cupboards and marvel at what Blobby and his wife ate? Strictly cake, of course. In 1995, the people still craved Blobby, and the park welcomed its millionth guest. A couple married in Crinkley Bottom. Growing their empire, park directors debuted a new indoor water attraction called TV's Family Favorites. Guests drifted through a river of famous BBC TV characters. All signs indicated the park was a smash hit. But the country's infatuation with the big Blobby was petering out fast. Crowds coming to the park started to thin out, and ticket sales dipped dramatically. Crinkley Bottom was headed down the tubes. Despite the fact that the show was still on the air, Noel split from his agreements with park owners. Because of licensing constraints, the Blobby attractions remained, but the park changed its name back to Cricket St. Thomas Wildlife Park. The park was eager to hide all evidence of Blobby's reign. Efforts to distance themselves from the Dunblobin era grew. In 1997, they blocked off all the Blobby exhibits for good. Signs with any Blobby reference were taped off. The owner's last minor recognition of their brief partnership with Blobby was a line on their website. Please note that the TV theme park attractions present in the 1990s no longer exist. Cutting ties with Blobby didn't save the park. They attempted to rebrand, but to no avail. Sadly, it closed for good in 2009, but that didn't stop thrill seekers from visiting the last remnants of Blobby's bubble. Overgrown and pretty creepy, explorers visited the bones of what was once the attraction of Crinkley Bottom. For the 90s kids that grew up cackling at Mr. Blobby's clownish antics, his crumbling kingdom served as a spooky memorial. The adventurers posted their photos of the crumbling structures online, and they quickly went viral. People all over the UK remembered the summers their parents took them to see Mr. Blobby. In fact, so many fans broke in to catch a glimpse of Dunblobin that the property owners took action. They demolished the remaining structures in 2014, and Blobby was permanently finished. Noel's House Party ended its run in 1999. Just like the theme park, viewers grew tired of the appeal. Since then, Noel has been busy with TV hosting gigs and had a long run hosting Deal or No Deal. Most recently, he signed on as a contestant for the show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Outta Here. As Mr. Blobby fades into the murky past of TV history, he won't be forgotten. In part because of the evidence of his abandoned amusement park, but also because, in the nostalgia-filled hearts of 90s kids, Blobby is immortal.